Hey there everyone, this is Munir again as usual from AEONMETIZ. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. I know I say that on almost all my videos, but today I actually wanted to speak about the reasons why AEONMETIZ exists in the first place. I've been in the UAE for almost 22 years. Out of that, around 14 to 15 years were actually spent in the corporate side, and I was a graphic designer and an in-house photographer. 2018 saw me move away from that space and get into freelancing. And I thought I had the skills, I had the knowledge, so why not put that to good use? So I ended up being a commercial photographer. And one of the things that I really loved was doing food photography. I just loved those images in the magazines and in the advertisements that you see. I just totally fell in love with it. And I sort of decided to focus all my effort into food photography. But when I actually started doing food photography, I realized that something was missing. And in one instance where they actually asked, where the client basically asked me, can you do portraits and headshots for the chef or the teams and everything? And I thought, why not? And just trying to have them be comfortable in front of the camera was like a total challenge, but it was very interesting, and I sort of fell in love with that as well. And that's what happens to me most of the time, because in terms of photography, they always say you need to see the light. And ever since I started getting serious into the freelancing portion of my career, and started understanding how light works and seeing what best light to use for like a particular shoot or something like that, it just really opened my eyes, and I could not look at a photograph in the same way I used to before. And it sort of got a bit annoying as well, because every time I used to see a good picture, the first thing that I would do is sort of break down the lighting bit, like, okay, this is where the light's coming from, this is where the shadows are, this is how they may have done it. And it just got to a point where it became really annoying. But the thing is, I really enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the process, and at the same time I started getting into a little bit of videography, and I'm not sure, I think it's part of my nature. I sort of started falling in love with that, especially after seeing a lot of documentaries and seeing a lot of stuff like that. I really wanted to see a little bit more, storytelling. I was very much into storytelling since I was young. And that bit actually, I think I started from playing video games at such a very young age. I think I still remember playing Moon Patrol on my Atari 2600. And ever since then, I have been very much sort of into the narrative building and the storytelling in these games, and sort of being lost in them for like hours on end. And it was, I think that same thing followed me into my career. So in terms of photography and videography, I think that did carry in that sort of interest in being lost in the story. And yes, of course, it's very easy to talk about storytelling and all that, video games and things, but the thing is, how does it actually convert into business ideas? How do I actually move it into something that's very tangible in terms of trying to build up a business? And what I noticed during my freelancing period was that a lot of businesses or institutions or even entrepreneurs, even though they said it was storytelling or narrative building, there were a lot of gaps that I could see, that I just didn't feel invested in most of the narratives that were being built up. One of the things that I always kept thinking about was that I just didn't want to be pigeonholed into being just a photographer or just a videographer or just someone who does written content. I sort of wanted to use all these different mediums at my disposal and build stories that actually could connect to people. And that's actually how AEONMETIZ came to be. I wanted the focus of the business that I built up to sort of help other businesses tell their stories in the proper way, and in ways that could actually help them sort of really connect to their clients. And I wanted to really work with businesses who felt they wanted to make a change in the world, or they wanted to affect the lives of the people in a positive way. And that led me to starting AEONMETIZ in 2023. Some of you might be thinking, why the name AEONMETIZ? And I know it's a bit weird, but the thing is, the name holds a lot of significance for me. I wanted the business that I built to sort of last a lifetime, and it is a brand that I would like to build to be something more than what it is at the current moment. One of the core concepts, again, in my head was we should be able to sit with a business and really dig deep into what or how they started their business, and to understand the core concepts and sort of help them bring it out in a proper narrative. And the first word that came to mind at that time was basically eons, like it says through the ages kind of thing. Concept was there, so that name stuck. And I'm also a sucker for Norse and Viking mythologies and the Greek gods and everything, so I was really interested in those, and I kept searching. Like, yes, I know there are a lot of popular Greek gods and everything, so I wanted to actually find out someone who was not well known but had this sense again of being someone who basically advises from within. And that's how I came upon the name of Metiz. And based on all the Norse mythologies and all the Greek mythologies, so to speak, I literally found out that she was the Titan goddess of the water, of the oceans, and she was basically a shapeshifter, and she was also someone that people really loved because she provided advice. She sort of used to act as a mediator, and she basically worked from within to help solve problems. I know that legend goes into something more, but I'll keep it short for this video. So that's how you get like through the ages, and the concept of her being wise and everything. So basically together loosely it would generate to wisdom through the ages. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically a very short introduction into the start of AEONMETIZ. We are not there yet where we want to be, but I'm hoping in the next couple of years we reach heights that even I can't envision at the moment, and I hope all of you are there to celebrate it.